Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Jared Klein coming to you live from the NBC29 Digital Desk with today's Morning Rush. Let's start things off with the top stories over on NBC29.com. At number 1, Charlottesville woman filing a defamation suit against Ulta Beauty. At number 2, police investigating a fatal Route 29 crash. 2 people died in that crash. And at number 3, 4 school bus drivers no longer with Albemarle County. Well, a Charlottesville woman is seeking justice from Ulta Beauty after she says she was wrongfully accused of a crime she didn't commit. In January, Rita Massey says she was taken from her home in handcuffs in front of her neighbors. She was charged with 2 counts of larceny for allegedly stealing from Ulta, a business she says she's never even visited. Now Massey's attorney says his client is looking to clear her name.
She lives a very straight life. The woman's never been in trouble. She enjoys a tremendous reputation, and she was just shocked by what happened and very embarrassed and still embarrassed about it.
All of the charges against Massey were dropped. She's now seeking $100,000 in damages. Well, there were no major issues at Mountain View Elementary School in Albemarle County during drop-off Wednesday morning. A bus driver shortage is forcing more parents to drive their kids to school. Mountain View was expected to be among the hardest hit. Despite some confusion from parents and the occasional backup, traffic flowed smoothly. The district says traffic improvements are in the works for other schools in the county. UVA Hospital is reporting more patients checking in with COVID. The rate has gone from roughly a few per week to now 11 by this time of the month. Now still, that's far fewer than what the hospital saw last winter when there were 30 to 40 COVID patients per week. One doctor tells NBC29 the uptick in cases may signify waning immunity in the population. He anticipates a new COVID booster shot will be released sometime next month. And the Rivanna Water and Sewer Authority is keeping a close eye on whether the area's water supply can keep up with demand. Executive Director Bill Moyer says right now the water supply is just enough to provide the 10 million gallons of water its service area requires. Now, when it comes to new development, Moyer says preparations will be made as needed. Most of the Charlottesville area's water supply comes from the South Fork of the Rivanna Reservoir and the Ragged Mountain Reservoir.
Okay.
All right.
So today this story, the CDC is telling people to stop kissing and cuddling their turtles because of a rise in salmonella cases. I've always known that they've carried salmonella. But is this a thing? Do people kiss and cuddle turtles typically?
I've never known anybody with a pet turtle, but just seeing people interact with turtles, I've never seen anybody treat it like a dog or a cat.
Right. Come here, let me,
Yeah.
I've always known to wash your hands after handling them. But evidently at least 26 people across 11 states have been infected with salmonella linked to turtles. 9 have been hospitalized.
And is this just happening now? Like, why is all of a sudden people...
well, that's why I'm like, is this a thing? Like a trend?
Is this like some trend we're not aware of?
Kiss your turtle and cuddle with it. I don't know.
Don't kiss your turtle.
I thought it was a little bizarre, but I guess it happens. But they do carry salmonella, so...
I'm sure your turtle will still love you if you don't kiss or cuddle it.
Yeah, I think you just need to wash your hands.
Just wash your hands, yeah.
Really well if you come in contact with a turtle, but I just didn't know. Okay, do you remember, I remember as a kid hearing about the Loch Ness Monster just was like mesmerized by, the mystery of it all. Well, I haven't really heard much about the Loch Ness in probably a couple decades.
Yeah.
Well, there is now this massive hunt for the Loch Ness Monster 50 years later in Scotland, and they are inviting monster hunters from all over the world to take part, and you can actually do it virtually from your home, be a volunteer. And so the hunters will keep track of this lake. It'll be under surveillance with devices like drones and hydrophones, and the devices can produce thermal images and detect acoustic signals underwater. And I think they want volunteers. All this will be streaming. They want people to kind of keep an eye out on if they notice anything. I mean, I wish I had time to.
I feel like they would
think
have found it by now.
I do too.
It's been quite a while this rumor's been around.
I
so.
know. And I remember all those images. I'm like, oh, is it? Is it? And then someone was like, no, that's an elephant coming out of the water. You know.
Kind of reminds me of Bigfoot.
It does.
Like trying to find
that.
I mean, it would have been found by now.
I do too. Like you can't get away with anything these days.
Now, if this was the middle of the ocean, I think that would be a different story
that's
because
true.
we don't know what's underneath there.
That's true, and it's so deep.
Yeah, this is in the middle of Scotland, so.
Yeah, it's happening though.
Right.
Yeah.
Sign up if you're
August
interested.
26th through the 27th. It's approaching. Okay, this is a humanoid robot that is built, and it is meant to start doing the jobs that people don't want to do. It can lift 55 pounds and has been designed to be mass produced to work alongside people. But this is kind of like, you know, I feel like where we're heading, which is unfortunate.
Kind of scary, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that will replace a lot of jobs.
It will, yeah. And don't let this robot get too smart because then
right.
it'll be making us do the jobs that
Right.
it doesn't want to do.
The robots take over the world. Yeah, it's
exactly.
a little frightening. So, I mean, look at that.
It's very human-like.
It is very human-like. And, I mean, look at that. But I can just see, like, in the future, these robots literally on assembly lines putting things together and, again, taking jobs away from humans. So you kind of wonder.
I wonder if they intentionally made it look human-like, though, like with the hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you could just make a machine that doesn't look like a human that does the exact same thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's the future.
Something to think about. Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast brought to you by Michael and Son Cooling. A high of 88 today, so warmer than what we saw yesterday, and then a high of 96 tomorrow. It's going to be a lot warmer with a chance of storms. We also have Fridays after 5 tomorrow evening, and then it looks like we are going to get another break from the heat by the beginning of next week. A high of 78 on Monday. It's been a long time since we've seen a high during the day in the 70s. We'll definitely take it. Hope you guys have a great Thursday out there. We'll see you again on NBC29 News at noon.